Hi, horses. Hello. I'm live. Yeah, it's kind of cold today. I'll take it off if things get heated, though. Okay. I love brown clothing. Don't concede anything. What if I'm wrong? If I'm wrong about something, then I have to concede. I'll concede anything that I can. Okay, I started the call. Oh, call? Huh? She said call my other PC too.
Hello?
Hey.
Yeah, I sent you a message.
You want me to call? Huh?
My other one that I messaged you on, that one has my camera. Because I
Wait.
have 2 PCs to stream with.
Can't you just join the call with the other? You can't just join the call with the other one? I have to call the other one?
Yeah, I could call you. That's easier.
Yeah, if you
think you
can,
just
because...
add... Okay, yeah, I'll call you. Okay.
Okay. This is gonna get weird fast, no matter what he intends. Alright. Wait. She left the call. Join video call.
Make a group.
Okay, wait, Hey, can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay. Can you see me?
I can hear you and see you.
Okay.
Let me...
Okay, cool. Wait. Trying to add my other computer now.
Yeah.
So I can see you on my main screen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa, where did you go? What? Oh, okay, I see. Okay, I have to... Okay.
Okay. Is that good?
One sec. Yeah. I just have to, Okay. I'm not actually ready. Give me 1 second.
I'm not ready either.
Great.
How do I get rid of it?
You're kind of blurry if I make you big.
Am I?
A little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's just Discord.
I think it's the server.
I don't know.
Is that better?
No.
I was trying to change the region.
I don't know what it is. You're not that blurry, but like usually I give the other person half the screen, but if I do that, you're gonna look like blurry.
Wait, hold on one sec.
They're telling me it's my... No, I did. Yeah, I did double click her cam to enlarge it.
Why am I so blurry?
You see it?
Yeah. You're blurry too.
Whoa. Don't blame this on me.
I wonder if it's because it's weird. There's 3 people in the call.
Oh, probably. It is your fault.
Wait, okay, let's see what happens if I leave.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that looks
That
great.
fixed it?
That fixed it.
Okay. Why would it do that?
I don't know.
I can't look at you on my main screen now. I could look at your stream, but then I'm not gonna see your eyes.
Right. That's part of the show.
Um,
A lot of my communication is nonverbal.
one sec.
Okay, are we looking at our chat or are we gonna hide our chats? What do you want to do?
I'd probably hide chat.
Okay.
Looking at chat's kind of weird. They don't know what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Wait. Do you pop to show me on your screen? Do you pop out the cam?
Yeah.
How do you hide your own little?
I just cropped it. You can't. You just have to crop it in OBS.
Oh. Okay.
You think there would be a way to do that, but you can't. All right, chat. I'm hiding it. My chat said, please don't mute yourself again. That's the thing. The thing about hiding my chat is that I make terrible mistakes. I don't know about them. Okay. I'm gonna have my Discord open. So just DM me if I do something, unfortunate.
Okay. Same. I want to see if there's a way to join so I can look at you better. Without it turning blurry. There must be a way. Did that turn blurry?
Yeah.
Are there any Discord experts?
Wait. Let me see. Sorry. Hang on. Maybe it didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, we're
Not
good?
blurry.
Okay,
We're
cool.
good. We got it. Yeah.
Okay, let me hide chat too. Wait, you're blurry. No. Wait. Oh, maybe if I hide my camera to myself. Sorry. You can pay for better Discord bandwidth? How? Is that why?
Okay, I'm gonna read my chat while you're doing this.
Okay, yeah.
This is like Skyping with my parents.
It's not my fault. It's Discord's fault.
Chat, why does it matter if she's trans? Because we're talking about trans shit. And obviously it matters if she's trans. What are you talking about?
Chat. Or, have you ever had a call in a server? I think if you join a server, then you get better bandwidth. Is that true? Can anybody verify?
Probably. You wanna do this and
try joining my server?
Well, sure.
Well, we're level 3. I don't know if you're level 3.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, you can level up Discord.
Okay, invite me.
Okay. Oops. Okay, try this. Just join any channel. Join the waiting room. in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if this
yeah.
will work,
Okay.
but people are saying it's better.
I have to agree to. Well, I don't. Let's see what the rules are. I don't know if I agree to them. Okay, that's fine. Wait, I'm clicking the verify thing, but it's not working.
I'll give you a
And
roll.
the verification of our bot and your direct messages, I have to
Okay,
verify.
I gave you a roll. You should
Oh,
see the
nice,
channels.
nice.
Yeah, join the
Lumi,
waiting room.
waiting room. Okay. Nice.
Okay, one sec. I hope this works.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
Am I
that
blurry?
is much better. No, you're not blurry. You're even sharper than when you were sharp before.
Awesome. Wait, I can hear myself.
Haas wants to debate
Okay.
and destroy me. Well, then Haas shouldn't have banned me from his chat.
Let's see. Okay, okay. Now it works. Okay. Good idea. I'm just adjusting your size.
Okay. Yeah, I take Haas banning me very seriously, and I don't want to offend or upset him, so I'm instituting a self-imposed lifetime ban from his stream.
Why'd he ban you?
He was talking about me. He was like, why? He was like, how come mrgirl is? People are okay with mrgirl being like a pedo, but they call me like a blah 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 blah. And I said, I never talked to him before, but I was watching a stream and I wrote in the chat because I'm a good rapper. And then he immediately banned me. And then immediately after banning me, invited me to like chat with him.
Maybe he was just playing.
I guess.
He's a big character, right? Nothing he
Yeah,
says
yeah,
is serious.
yeah. He's well, I don't know. I can't tell if he's just like being goofy or if it's like he has outbursts and then retroactively tries to explain them by pretending they were jokes. I think it's that one actually, but I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Okay, let's see. I think. Wait, talk?
Hello, 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 hello. Gender, gender. Help, 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 help me. Please help me. Somebody help me.
Okay.
Please. Am I good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
All right, I can see you.
Nice.
You got blurry though, but whatever. I think it's just Discord.
Yeah.
Shades. Okay. Stream, can you hear him? Everything good? Okay.
Okay. I'm hiding chat. DM me if I mute myself or do something else, stupid that I need to know about.
Okay.
You're blurry again?
It's random,
Okay. Well, let's just talk then.
I think. Okay.
We'll just see what happens.
Okay, what's up?
Nothing. You wanted to speak to me about something? You said you're not mad at me.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
I've just heard some. I just want to ask you some questions.
Okay.
But
You're trans.
yeah,
Okay. My chat is like they were like fighting with each other over whether it matters if you're trans. I would say
do you
if
think
we're
it
talking
matters?
about well, if we're talking about trans stuff, I would say that it matters quite a bit if you're trans. Yeah.
Um, yeah, only because maybe it would give me more validation given the experience that I've gone through, in a sense.
You mean validation
I
like you have
learn
better perspective,
credibility, I guess, to
credibility? Yeah, sure.
third parties. Um,
Yeah.
I've never actually said that online because I don't. I used to label myself more, but I feel like the more you label yourself, the more you divide yourself in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'll say it just to talk about it, but I don't like applying it too hard to my identity. I don't like something like gender defining who I am as a person, you know, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it does. But I feel like it is worth. I mean, it is part of why we're talking. I think.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Um, true. Um, what what do you mean by that? It's part of like whether I'm
It's.
trans or not is part of why I'm talking
I
with
think
you.
it's part of why you asked me to talk about this. I think it's part of why. Um. Yeah, like I don't think like cis people are generally. I'll say this: no cis person has messaged me to ask me to talk about gender with them.
So you
On,
usually
o-
ask people to
only.
talk?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've talked about it with Rose Wrist and Destiny, and I obviously I begged both of them to talk to me, not the other way around.
So I'm interested in why do you talk about it then? What's your problem with it that makes you so
What's
passionate
my
about talking with
problem?
it?
Well, so yeah, I have that series, and it sounds like you haven't watched much of it because a lot of the series is me talking about what my problem is. But I'll summarize.
So I didn't want to come here with like a script because I feel like that wouldn't be as natural.
Sure.
And and in addition to that, there's probably a lot of people who are watching who don't know your
I'm not. I'm
position
not.
as well.
Hey,
Okay.
hey. I'm not saying you should have watched it. I'm just saying you
Yeah, oh,
didn't.
I'm just explaining why I didn't do
Well, and you didn't watch it
watch
because
it.
it will take a long
I
time.
watched some of it. Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
It's long. It's like hours and hours. So I have a few problems. One is I just don't agree with the general progressive narrative about gender. So my first problem is I think it's not true. And I don't like when people say things that aren't true. Two, I don't like that the progressive kind of trans narrative is spreads through fear. I don't like it when people say things that aren't true because they're afraid. So the mob mentality around pressuring people to agree scares me. Um, Three, I don't think the way this is going is great for trans people, or really anybody. Um, but probably especially trans people. Four, I think it undermines. I think it's causing a bigger political schism in the country. So things are really polarized. But when I think of like what conservatives are like most opposed to, or the thing where they're like the basically the Democrats have lost their mind. I think gender is like the number one thing. Like they picture like a blue haired trans girl, and they're like, I can't. I can't do this. And that concerns me because I don't want to, and I'm not saying we should just agree with conservatives so that we can all be unified, but that combined with me also just disagreeing myself as like, well, maybe there's a more like uniting or flexible way to talk about this that doesn't alienate half the country. And then 5, like, I assume you're a liberal.
I'm a centrist. I'd say.
Okay. But okay. Um, but I assume you're like pro Joe Biden and not pro Trump. Is that true?
Yeah. If those are the choices, I guess.
They were the choices.
Yeah.
Okay. I assume you believe in global warming, climate change.
Sure.
Okay. And also, I assume that you're like not an anti-vaxxer. Well, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Are you an anti-vaxxer?
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Okay. So I feel like on those issues, which feel like pretty important to me, if Democrats or progressives or whoever are leading the charge and saying we're the party of science, for them to also take the position they do with gender, which I don't think is a scientifically fueled position, whether you agree with the claims that it is scientifically based, I think it's pretty inarguable that the way it is presented and the way it is pushed is not scientifically based. And so that, I feel like it's undermining other efforts in convincing skeptics to listen to liberals. Those are my 5 problems that I just came up with.
Okay, so let me try to repeat some of that back to you to make sure I understand. So, you think it's not true, and you think people are pushing it in a way that is unscientific, and because they're doing that, it's undermining the rest of the liberal movement.
Not the entire rest of it, just some parts of it
like
that the scientifically based parts that I care about. Yeah.
Okay. And okay. Is that about it?
Yeah.
Did
Well,
I say-
yeah, I don't think it's good for trans people.
Oh, and you don't think it's good for people. So
I feel like we're leaning. Yeah. Go ahead.
So when you say it's not true,
Yeah.
in order to say something is not true, you have to have like a greater idea of what is true. So I'm wondering what do you think is true, and how do you determine truth? That was your first point.
What do I think is true about gender?
Yeah, because since you say gender's not true. So what do
I
you
think
is-
gender is a made up social construct that we use to group and categorize the way that we react to each other's bodies and the way that we are treated based on our bodies. And that varies from region to region, time to time, and culture to culture. But it's talked about as though it's like an actually like innate thing that exists in our brains. And I think that's not true.
Okay, so you don't think it's true because society constructed it? Is that why?
I think it is. I think it's true in the sense that like a religion is true, like. So if you say like these are the beliefs of like Jews and this is how Jews view the world, and if you want to live in a Jewish way, this is what you would do. Like it's real in that sense. But then if you say like, you know, and God is literally real, then I'm like, and the events depicted in the Bible are true, then I'm like, well, that's not true. It's not scientifically true. It's like a way of thinking.
So
And it
you
is
think what is true is that? So what do you think? So if you think that's not true, what do you think about the socially constructed roles of masculine and feminine, masculinity and femininity that we have right now already?
like
Because that's
they're
socially constructed as well,
yeah,
right?
they're exactly they're real, but they're not scientifically like based. Like me acting like a man is not uh like it's not part of my biology. So my problem with it is that, like, so at first it was like, okay, some men are feminine. And then it was like, okay, some men are cross dressers. And then it was like some men want to live as women. And then it was some men are trans women, but we're going to call them women. And now it's become men. So some men just are women. They weren't men. They're actually just women. Literally, biologically, socially, scientifically, in every conceivable way, a trans woman is a woman. The word trans woman
Okay.
no longer should even exist anymore, because they're all being trans means now to the far left is we were all wrong. I was in the wrong like shell, and I have shed that, and now we see my true form has been revealed, and actually I'm a woman.
Okay, so
You see like a
yeah,
progression there, and
the last part there, I agree with you. I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think it's. I also agree. I don't think it's true to say that a trans woman is like literally exactly biologically the same. I think
but lots of
most
people
trans
say
people
that.
don't think that.
Well, no, I don't think most trans people think that, but I think most trans rights activists or advocates, or like the most fervent people in the movement, do think that. Well, I don't know if they think that, but they say that. And it is increasingly offensive to say things like trans women are not literally biologically women. Now, I understand, like, in your personal life, it's not offensive at all. Like, you could say that to everyone you know, and they'd be like, "Well, of course not." But if you're at like a dinner party and you say that, then people will be like, "Well, I'm not going to respond to that." And if you say that at work, then someone's going to pull you aside and say, "Hey, don't say that." You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
then if you say it
I
online,
agree with.
you get death threats.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I don't agree with that last part. So I don't think that trans women are exactly biologically the same. I don't think it's
It
necessary to
doesn't
say
make
that
any
for the
it
movement.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because there's also the paradox that if you push that movement, then you're undermining the struggle that trans people have to go through in their daily life. Because if they're exactly the same, then
You're erasing the
why is there?
definition of what a trans person is.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary to go that far. I mean, I think people should accept that they're a trans woman and that's what they are. I don't think most people are so delusional that they think that by saying that their actual biology is going to change.
There are
So
a
I
lot of
feel
people.
like
A lot of people are that delusional,
uh,
because if you want to find scientific studies that tell you that sex is a spectrum, there's ways you can look at sex, at biological sex, so that it is not black and white, and they do. Okay, you like if you say this, if you say the stuff you're saying on like a trans subreddit or something, you would be banned like immediately.
me,
Yes.
I've never tried to say that, but
Try it. I
yeah, I agree
implore
with you on
you.
that point.
Go to the subreddits for feminism, 2X chromosomes, uh, any of the trans subreddits, LGBT, and say, I don't think, like, there's the only sub that I know of where you can talk about that stuff that we're talking about now would be honest transgender.
Okay. So I like that you're pushing back on that part because I agree with you.
So yeah, the way I
don't-
see it is that the desire to be seen as, or to feel like, or to live as the opposite sex is causing trans activists and some trans people and some non-trans people, obviously, to keep pushing the definition further and further for more and more acceptance. And every time every time the boundaries moved, where it's like, okay, but here's where it stops. Like at this point, like these are women and like you're not a woman here. Then they're like, well, no, we're gonna go past that one too. And it just feels like, so I said in my video, like I feel like liberals have not found a way to say no to anyone, really. And
So, okay.
and conservatives have not found a way to say no that is kind or like empathetic.
I see your point.
Okay.
I just want to ask because I agree with you. I don't think you should push the idea that they're exactly the same biologically. That's going a bit too radical, and I don't think it's.
I mean, you saw my own chat. My own chat was doing it just now.
I don't.
They're
What are
saying
they doing?
someone asked if you were trans, and then someone else was like, "What does it matter? It has no bearing on the conversation." Like as if it's exactly the same, and like as if having this conversation with you, like if you're a trans woman or a woman, it's the exact same thing because trans women are women.
So if we isolate the trans issue,
Yeah.
do you think what do you think about the people who recognize there's a difference between sex and gender, and they transition knowing that difference and they accept that difference truthfully to themselves?
What do you mean?
Because I feel like most trans people that I know feel that way and they accept themselves.
Yeah, most
as
people
they
in
were
real
born,
life, for sure. Most people in real life are more
Yeah.
sane than and less extreme than like people online of any group.
Yeah.
So
So you're
yeah.
okay with those people?
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm okay with them. I'm okay with
Like,
anybody.
do you Okay, yeah, but do you disagree with the fact that that's their truth and that's not delusional? Or do you still think that's delusional?
Tell me what. Well, I want to avoid you asking me if I think you're delusional. So
Why?
tell me, because I don't want to hurt anyone.
Why do you think that would hurt me?
I'm not as much worried about you.
Okay.
I think
I want to ask you because I want to. So
I understand. I'm
see
like
what you think.
I'm talking to
maybe, like-
Richard Spencer on Friday.
I don't know who that is.
Richard Spencer is like the biggest neo-Nazi in the country, or one of them.
So-
Well, most well known.
So you're
And
saying
so
you don't
I-
want people like hating you?
No. I'm saying I'm going to have this problem with him where I'm going to have to ask him about Jews and how he feels about them, and he's going to be looking at me, and then I'll have to be like, well, yeah, like you're obviously thinking of me when I say this. So I don't really know how to get around that. I'm not trying to say I'm the Richard Spencer of trans people, but I want to have this conversation in the most ethical way possible, and I'm a little worried about you saying like, here's my view of myself, would you like to tear it apart? And I don't want to. So
Well, I think it's related because I mean, one of your points of the problems you had was that you said you think it's against truth. So I'm trying to figure out
Okay, let
What
I
your
want
truth
to.
is? Do you
Yeah,
think it's your truth is like
I'll tell you what my truth
okay.
is. My problem, I think my problem is the word delusional implies like that I would think that trans people are more delusional than other people, but I think cis people are also delusional. Like if you if
Mhm.
you were a cis woman saying like I'm in the right body, this is the real me, I'm supposed to be this way, my gender and my sex are aligned and that's why I'm comfortable with myself, I also think that's delusional. So it's more like I think um people who think gender is like an innate part of their being are delusional, and that happens to also describe a lot of trans people, but it's not like because I have traditional gender roles in mind and I think we should stick to them, and if you don't, you're delusional. It's more like I think gender overall as an idea is like I'm a gender abolitionist.
Okay,
I
I
get
like that because I agree. No, I think the same as you.
okay.
Because you think it's people, it's because they're clinging to beliefs that are made up and put into
Yeah.
them by society and
Yeah,
like
like a
and learned
religion.
up
And
like
like
that.
that's fine if you want to, if you like it, if you like looking at the world that way, then like that's fine. I don't want to be told that I have to agree with it because I don't. And I don't want to be told that it's literally true because I don't think it is.
So okay, I mean I agree with you on that point. I'm
Nice.
just wondering, um,
Okay, so you're saying somebody who agrees with that but who still
yeah,
wants to transition, what do I think of that person?
yeah. What do you like? So, yeah, what do you think of that? Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, yeah, no. I've talked to trans people who agree with everything I just said. Um I interviewed a trans man who said that he transitioned because he didn't want to deal with the trauma of living in a female body anymore. And he was like, it's just not, it wasn't worth it to me. I'm happier as a man. I know I'm not really a man. I know I'm being avoidant, but I don't want to face it. And I never do.
Hmm.
I just had to escape.
Do you think it always has to be an escape? Do you think
Um,
every if you
I don't want to make a
so do you,
sweeping statement like that, but
yeah,
that's my theory of what it usually is. Yeah,
okay.
some
So
kind, some kind
uh,
of.
um yeah, I see what you're saying.
But
So
like
would you
lots
also
of
hold
things.
that belief?
Sorry, go ahead.
So if I look at it like we have to continue participating in the society that we're living in as long as we're here, right? So there has to be some way that you express yourself. So mm,
Yes,
what
but
is the
you
difference
like
between
okay. I think being trans is an additive process.
oh okay, so you're a gender abolitionist. So I wanna bring up this point.
Okay.
Do you think that the trans movement is going in the right direction towards abolishing gender, or do you think it's going in the wrong direction?
I think it's going in. It could lead to being in the right direction, but right now I feel like it's going in the wrong direction.
Okay. Because I feel like um,
Like,
if we desensitize
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
concept of gender, um, people are going to be more comfortable not clinging to the binary male female gender roles. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like
Like, just the idea that like
you know what I'm saying?
men can wear dresses if they feel like it. I think that is a good part of the transgender. The only things I really don't like about it
Mhm.
are uh, surgery, hormones, and telling other people how to talk and what they should believe. Those I think those are like the things I don't like. Everything else I like. Like I'm all for people being non-binary or breaking
Why are
gender
you against
norms.
hormones?
Um it scares me is one.
What about it?
I'm against makeup. It's like makeup for your cells.
You think it's okay? Okay. I wanna
So,
ask you something.
okay.
Um, okay, so if you're against hormones,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you be equally against uh certain diets and exercising a certain amount? Because all of that changes your body
I'm
physiology
against
as
steroids.
well.
I'm against men taking steroids. That would be the equivalent thing to me.
I'm just wondering why you
I
draw
think
the
it's
line is
inherently cuz
at
I think it's
hormones
I
and
think
not like
cuz I think
okay,
it's damage
okay,
I think
look,
it's damaging to your body to take hormones.
okay. Imagine somebody who's like obsessed with exercising and they exercise like 7 hours or more
Yeah,
a week.
I think that gets into
You,
self-harm as well.
you think
Look,
so?
when I say
You
I'm
think that's
against it,
equivalent?
when
You
I say
think
I'm
that's
against
equivalent to taking hormones? Like something like that? Changing
there's certain you could
your body like
certainly I
that?
mean you can kill yourself exercising too much. So yeah, there's definitely a point at which it becomes more damaging to you to look. I'm not saying I'm morally against it.
Yeah,
I'm saying
I don't think you are.
I think it's self harm. The way I think makeup is self harm. The way I think getting Botox and lip fillers is self harm. The way I think lots of things.
What part of that is harmful?
Uh, you're taking your endocrine system and making it like you're taking parts of your body and making them not work as well. Like
What if
it is
what if
objectively
you
harm. If you don't, I understand that that's what you
yeah,
want to do.
yeah.
That when I say self harm, I don't mean you're doing something to yourself against your own will. I'm just saying, like,
I know. I don't think you're saying that. I'm just wondering about. So if we talk about this, you want to look at it in terms of outcome, right? In a
no,
sense, like what is it doing?
no,
You don't
I
think
don't.
that matters at
No,
all?
no, no.
So can I
You
present?
can, but I just undermined it.
Okay, that's fine. Um,
But you can ask why
that's fine.
you can ask why I'm
I
doing it.
want to ask. Okay, say why, and then I want to ask something.
Why am I okay with saying that if trans people are happier taking hormones and surgeries than they would be if they didn't? Then why don't we just say it's less harmful than the alternative? Because if I'm like, hey, I'm gonna stomp on my foot as hard as I can with my other foot, but if you don't encourage me to do that, I'm gonna smash my hand with a hammer, and it's like, well, and then I'm like, do you still think this is self harm if I step on my foot? It's like, yeah, it's just not as self harm as the other thing, but like those, they're both self harm. Like maybe there's a solution that doesn't involve either. But so what I'm part of my problem with the kind of like trans or the gender narrative that we have now is that I don't think we're looking for a solution. I think we've bought into the false dichotomy of like it's either complete despair and like falling off a psychological cliff, or it's hormones and surgery. And and now if you say
And
like
you want to
maybe
go for the middle ground? Is that what you're trying to say? You think there's better
yeah, I'm like
alternatives?
because like I'm all about self acceptance, and so like I as a personal trainer, I in LA I went through probably over 100 clients, maybe 200, and lots of them want liposuction and other harmful like UV, like they're trying to shine UV lights on their body to lose weight or whatever the fuck they're doing over there. And like I would have to try to find a line, or like I had a client who used to take laxatives all the time, and so I would be like, I was in a position where I had the ability to without crossing any lines, encourage them to accept their bodies and say, like, I would say to a lot of clients, like, it's okay that you hate your body. Like, I know you're not supposed to anymore, and it's like not allowed on Instagram, where you have to be positive about your body. No matter what your body looks like or how you feel about it, you'll be shamed for being ashamed of your body. But like, we all hate our bodies sometime. And so I think a lot of them found it helpful that I would like push for this kind of like honest acceptance. But if you say the same thing about trans people, then you're talking about conversion therapy. And it's seen as talking about conversion therapy. Like if I said I had a trans client who or a client who told me they were going to transition, and then I so somehow helped them accept their body, I would have actually smothered their new LGBT identity and converted them or brainwashed them into thinking they were cis. And like I don't know if you heard about my girlfriend.
What? What happened?
She wanted to take testosterone, and I talked her out of it.
Do you think you did a good thing talking her out of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Why do you think it's a good thing?
Because I think it was a bad idea.
Could I ask, what if, just a random what if question, just to see what you say. What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay,
see what I say.
So,
see what happens.
okay.
See what happens, Lumi.
So, what if in 10 years, the consequence of you talking somebody out of it ends up being worse than if they went through it? So I'm wondering, if somebody transitions, they feel in this moment now that it'll be better for the growth of them as an individual.
Yeah.
And then they're on a better pathway to themselves, to discovering themselves.
Okay,
and
but
then,
this is what you already asked me, if the ends justify the means. I'm saying no.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's happened like in the history of the world that somebody has like had like a death in their family, and then they're like, I'm going to do some heroin. And they do the heroin, and it helps them get through a hard time. And if they hadn't done the heroin, maybe they would have killed themselves or lost their job or had a psychotic break. But the heroin actually helped them get through a tough time. And 10 years later, they're better off than they would have been if they hadn't taken it. Like, that's possible. But I don't think that means heroin is good for you. I still consider it like a harmful substance.
Okay. So, regardless of the actual reality of how they feel,
there's another problem.
I feel like it's just, I mean, it's okay, but
I
see your point of okay, what's the other problem?
I believe that the thing that causes gender dysphoria is society and people in your life mistreating you. And I'm very
maybe for some people.
I think for everybody, almost everybody. And I'm very against conforming to the ideals of people who don't treat you well.
You're against conforming to the ideals.
So even if you're happier, so if society tells you you're not supposed to be the way you are, or your family tells you you're not supposed to be the way you are, to the point where you start to hate the way you are, even if changing the way you are will make you happier, that you can live inside their shitty constructs, I am against it.
Huh. So even if
I don't want people to do that. Yeah, I think it's better for us to challenge whatever is making us hate our bodies and want to transform ourselves. I think it's better to just stand up to it and
So
fix and
don't you
fix
think
that.
don't you think everything we're doing is transforming our bodies on a daily basis?
Yes. But you know what
Okay.
I mean.
I know what you mean.
Well,
I'm just
yeah,
trying
you
to
know what I mean.
show you. I know
Well, you're
exactly
not
what you
showing
mean.
me shit.
Well, I want to um hmm.
So if my family makes me feel bad about being a man to the point where I can no longer stand seeing a man in the mirror, I think it's better, or like I prefer it. I'm not even saying it's morally better. I just I would want to just tell them to fuck off. And if that means I have to live the rest of my life hating my male body, then I will.
If you could get to a point where you're in love with your body, in harmony with your mind and spirit, you wouldn't choose that?
No.
If you
I
could,
choose war.
you choose misery
I
with
choose
yourself?
truth. I choose truth. And choosing truth is often choosing misery.
You don't think that you can do both?
No.
I think you can do both.
I don't even drink coffee because it makes me fake
You
happy.
eat you eat food.
Yeah. I eat food. Don't
So
try to fucking
depending
tell
on what
me,
you eat.
don't tell me that me injecting estrogen into my body and getting breast implants is the same as me eating food.
Maybe not the surgery part.
Oh, but
But
injecting
I'd say
estrogen
there's
is the same as eating
certain
food? I don't need to do that to live.
certain foods will affect your endocrine system. Okay?
Yes, I
So it's just
completely
like
agree.
a
But
matter
I don't,
it's just
but
a
I don't,
matter
I
of
don't,
how much of this affecting me is
absolutely.
too much.
Right. So of course,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a small on a scale. So on one hand, we have like eating some edamame. On the other hand, I have injecting so much estrogen into my body that my balls stop working. And it's just a scale. Everything's on a scale. You know what? This is one where it isn't a spectrum. It's not a spectrum.
You don't think so? Um
Okay, if there is somebody who eats estrogen producing foods for the purpose of transitioning, I would actually have the same feeling. So it is a spectrum. But that's 99% of the it's more about the idea behind what you're doing, not like the effect on your endocrine system.
yeah, so it's the idea behind what you're doing. So if you have
There's nobody
I like that
injects
part.
estrogen because they're hungry.
Well, what's the difference between doing
The difference
that and
between eating
eating?
and
They're both just a different manifestation of being selfish, right?
no.
You don't have to eat food and kill other animals to keep living. You don't have
I
to
don't.
inject estrogen to keep living.
You have to eat
You don't have
food
to.
to
You
keep.
don't have
You
to.
do have to eat food to keep living. I'm gonna push back
Oh,
on
okay,
that.
sorry. Okay, you don't have to eat food,
You do,
but unless
actually.
you want to live, but you don't have to live.
You
I know
don't have
it's
to
a
live.
radical example, but
Okay. Do you see why I think eating food is self-care and not
yeah,
self-harm? To a point,
yeah.
eating food, eating
But
enough
you could
food
say the
to
same thing
survive.
with estrogen. Some guy's gonna kill himself unless he starts injecting estrogen.
Yes, I see them both as self-harm, but estrogen is a lesser self-harm.
Yeah, estrogen's a lesser self harm.
I would say killing
You mean
yourself is pretty
you mean
much.
food's a lesser self harm?
I think food is self-care unless you're eating so much that you're harming your body. But generally, I think eating is self-care.
I guess it depends on
Like if I were
how
taking
you.
care of like a baby
So would you
and I
say
gave the
wait?
baby, if I gave the baby milk, that would be
I
taking
get what you're
care of
saying.
it.
Let me ask you a question.
If I injected estrogen into the baby, that would not be taking care of it. So that's
But there's different there's different forms of taking care of yourself. Sometimes you want to take care of your mental health. Sometimes you want to take care of your body. Sometimes you want to take
Yes.
care of your
So
healing.
I think things like injecting estrogen are not even taking care
Yeah.
of your mental health. I think it's more like appeasing. It's like something you want. It's not something you need.
I mean everything is something you want ultimately. You don't need to keep living. You don't need to eat to keep living. You want to keep living.
Okay, I feel like okay, imagine that it were possible through therapy and like years of hard work to cure gender dysphoria
Okay.
and for people to accept themselves and their bodies that they had at birth.
Okay.
Do you think that would be preferable to transitioning?
What just wait, can you still hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Wait.
I feel like Mr. Girl says a lot of opinions he has on things with no reasoning or evidence behind it.
Are we back?
The chat's enjoying the show. Okay.
Sorry, that just it randomly disconnected me for no reason. Um Okay, so you said
Okay, imagine it was possible. So someone develops severe gender dysphoria when they're 16. You gotta help
yeah.
me, doc. You gotta fix me. Please give me the hormones. Give me the surgery. I gotta do it. Okay, imagine if it was possible to take that person and say, "Shut up. You're gonna go to therapy," and then they do, and the person eventually their dysphoria goes away and they like their body and they accept themselves, blah blah blah, and they are within normal range of happiness levels. Would you agree that that's preferable to them transitioning?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so we agree that in terms of outcomes, being cis and liking your body is the best. Uh,
I think
be
being cis and liking your body's but I don't
it's
know.
the well, it's amazing.
Um it's
It's amazing. Can I get through my ranking system and then you tell me what you think of it?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So in terms of preferable outcomes for like us as people who care about the general community, the mental health of other people, cis and liking your body, cis and having some problems with your body or more. I mean, everybody has problems, but like a decent amount. Trans and feeling like you pass and liking your body, and then trans and feeling like you don't pass and you still don't like your body. That's the worst, I think. So so my problem with
What if you're trans but you're not taking hormones, but you're just presenting as the other gender, and you're happy with your body?
yeah, that's probably better than being cis and liking and not liking your body. Yeah, so I'd say that's second place. That might even be tied for first place. I guess
mean,
yeah.
I'd
So
probably
let me back up.
with your scale. I think that's tied.
Yeah, I think it's tied too. Well, I think there might be some part of you. Okay, if it doesn't bother you that people don't know that you're trans. Okay, if you're okay with people knowing that you're trans and they do know and you still like it and you like the way you interact and you like the way you feel, that's tied, I think, with being cis. I think if you're hiding, there's something, even if you don't take hormones, there is still some aspect of misrepresenting yourself
You
in
think?
some way. Kind of. I feel
D-
like I
So,
if
so
if
you're only misrepresenting yourself in terms of society's already constructed
yeah,
normalness
exactly.
on
Right.
you.
And so I, for now, you're sort of misrepresenting yourself, and I think that might feel bad for you on some level. But but I agree that that is only because of society's expectations. Well, I don't
Okay.
know. I'm kind of okay with society having a basic language for telling other people if you have a dick or a pussy. I don't
Why?
necessarily because I think
You're
that's
okay with that, you
information.
say?
I am okay with that. Yeah. I think that's information that people want to know about other people within seconds of looking at them. I think that's part of why we have gender.
Well, but I thought
I
you
I
were
want I
gender
want to I want to know.
abolitionist.
Okay, yeah. So when I say I'm a gender abolitionist, I more mean people should not feel pressured to follow these rules or norms. They should feel free to break them. I guess I don't necessarily think that the norms should go away, but it should be like um anybody who wants to color outside the lines should. And if the lines move wherever they move, then I'm fine with that. It's not like there's never going to be a point where I'm like, hey, now wait, this has gone too far. Like I want to know who's who. I just feel like as a species, it makes sense that we want to signal to each other like what we have in our pants. So, but anyway,
Why?
because you
Wait, as
gotta
a
you gotta know
so,
who you can suck and who you can fuck.
but that's so primitive. I
Yeah,
feel like we've already
yeah.
evolved past the
No,
caveman area.
well, maybe
Yeah,
you have. Maybe
I
you
mean, look what
have.
we're doing.
Good
We're
for
talking
you.
on the internet. So you find people through communication, not through like going out and seeing like, oh,
I
big boobs,
understand.
wide hips,
I
you
don't
know?
agree. I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's true. Okay, so in
Okay.
my
Uh,
hierarchy, anyway, we in Mr. Girl's hierarchy of mental health, you can imagine if I believe that it is possible for gender dysphoria to be helped through therapy. Maybe not right now. Maybe we need to figure it out, but I believe it's possible. And if it is possible, then you can see why, compared to that, I think taking hormones is self-harm. And you can see why, if people are immediately encouraged by everyone on the fucking internet and all their friends to immediately jump to taking hormones, and no one can acknowledge the sacrificial part of that, and no one can acknowledge, like, maybe if we fixed the way we treat people, they wouldn't have to do that. It just feels like we're throwing trans people under the bus, and that we're allowing them to do something that I believe is self-harm, and that we criticize each other if anyone tries to come up with something better. And so I feel like I'm like, that's like, I think the main point of my video series is I'm like, maybe there's a better way to handle this that will have better outcomes for everyone. And some of the reaction to it is like that I'm transphobic. Actually, that's not really true. That's the reaction to, I think, some like clips of things I've said, but most of the trans people who've commented have liked the videos.
okay. So, yeah, there is a huge sacrifice if you choose to transition. I agree with that. Um, and
But that's not
I
talked
also
about
agree.
very much.
I feel like most people should try therapy. They should go through therapy, and a lot of
For
them
how
do
long?
try therapy. It's hard to say.
How
How
old are
long do you
you?
think? 26.
Have you
Because
been have you been to therapy?
a couple times, not that much.
What do you mean times?
I've gone a few times, but
A few
I
sessions?
yeah, not a lot.
Okay. Uh when I first started going to therapy, it was right after my ex-wife left me. And my friend said, you'll feel a little better in 6 months, and then you'll feel significantly better in 2 years.
And how do you feel?
I was like, great. The 6 months part wasn't true. I felt a little better in 2 years. I think she was just trying to get me to keep going now. I'm sure she meant what she said, but like, you know, it was a loose estimation.
So it helped you a lot?
Yeah, but it took a long time. So
Are you still going to therapy?
I don't talk about my therapy life in public. Other than when I started going, I talk about that, but I have to keep some privacy from, you know, them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So how long should someone go to therapy for before they transition? Forever. Yeah. Indefinitely. I would never tell someone that they should. Again, we're talking about medical transition. I think social transition is super different.
I feel like, what if somebody just goes to therapy their whole life and they never get anywhere with it?
Well, that's normal.
I mean, it's normal to you.
Yeah.
I don't think it's preferable.
Who do you know who's gotten anywhere with anything? Nobody gets anywhere with anything. Like, people go to therapy and it's like if you can make your life like 2% better, you're way ahead of the curve.
I feel like if you have the option to make it 50% better compared to 2% better, then why wouldn't you do that?
I guess I just don't buy it.
Why not?
You can't choose what you buy.
Have you ever
I can't choose what I believe. People keep asking me if I meditate. Why? Why are you asking me that? I don't think I want to talk about that either.
Because you say you can't choose what you believe. And if you ever learn about meditation or those types of practices, then I think you'd learn a lot more about
I would learn. Okay, cult brain. No thanks.
You think it's a cult?
I think that's a culty way of thinking. Yeah.
Wait, but meditation has nothing to do with being in a cult. It's a thing any human can do, regardless of whether you're following
culty. When you start talking about choosing what you believe, when you start talking about choosing what you believe, alarm bells start going off in my head, and you're like, you could learn about it. And I was like, learn. What does learn mean? That means you're gonna put stuff. That means you're gonna put stuff in my fucking head.
Your current system of beliefs was already put into your head by your experiences and your interactions throughout your life.
I'm not saying learning is impossible. I'm saying deciding what I'm going to learn. Like, there's a difference between I'm going to have this experience and I'll learn something from it versus I'm going to decide what I'm going to learn from it before having it. That's what you're talking about. That's brainwashing.
Wait.
That's brainwashing, yo.
Wait, why is that related? Why do you think meditation is brainwashing?
Because you're talking about choosing what you're going to learn.
No, meditation is going through your own already indoctrinated beliefs.
Yeah.
The belief systems that is already in your head. So you're sorting through your own beliefs. There's not some third party beliefs magically being projected into your mind just by sitting down and meditating.
Why are we talking about this? I just said I don't believe it. I don't. Okay.
Because you said something wrong about it.
Back up.
Okay.
I think maybe we're having a misunderstanding. I said, okay, you said, you implied transitioning can make you 50% happier.
Yeah.
And I said,
Compared to your 2% therapy.
right, and I said I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And then you said, have you tried
And then
meditating? Why don't you meditate till you do
no, no,
believe
no.
it?
And then you said,
Basically.
I can't control what I believe.
Yes.
That's what you said.
I keep running into this problem with like talking about this. I think I've
Yeah.
had this problem in every conversation I've had about this. I say I don't believe that. And then the pro-trans person I'm talking to says, "Why?" But
Yeah.
it's not why like you're actually asking me. I can tell you why I don't believe it. But that's not what you're asking. You're asking me like, "Well, why don't you believe it?" Believe it. Believe it, bro. And I'm like, but I don't.
I mean, that's not what I was saying. I was saying my response was more to the
It was, but
I
it wasn't.
can't
You weren't.
control what I believe statement.
Well, I said that because you asked me why I don't believe it, as if I'm choosing not to believe it.
No.
Do you think I'm choosing to believe that that transitioning doesn't make people happier in the long run?
That's not what we were talking about. We were talking about
2% versus 50%.
Yeah, the 2% versus 50%.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't believe you. I don't believe what you're saying. I don't agree. I don't believe it. If it were true, I'd probably agree with you. I don't believe it. I don't even know if I would agree with you, but I don't believe that part anyway. And then so when you say why, are you asking me to explain why I don't believe it? Or are you asking me...
Well, that's what we're doing, right? We're talking about...
I don't know what we're doing. Are you asking me to explain why I don't believe it? Or are you asking me why do you resist so much, Mr. Girl?
Kind
why
of
do you resist
both.
it?
And I'm asking
I want you to pick one.
Okay, why don't you believe it?
Which one are you asking?
The first one.
You want me to explain why?
Yeah.
Because I believe transitioning is an act of avoidance. And so while you may seem happier and will definitely report being happier, under my definition of happiness, sidestepping yourself, while that does allow you to sidestep a lot of your problems, I can't define that as happy.
Could you
also
sidestepping yourself? So what's your definition of happy?
Also, it's not just trans people. Like anybody who's like, hey, I did this thing and I'm a lot happier now. I'm like, yeah, I don't believe you. I don't believe that. And trans people are super committed to their decision. And so it's like, what, like, yeah, like when people get divorced. Okay, I went on a Tinder date. You're gonna love this story. I went on a Tinder date.
Okay.
And this woman was like, yeah, I'm separated from my husband. I'm like, I'm so relieved. And I was like, oh, how long have you been separated for? And she was like, 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, you're not relieved. You're like freaking out. And she was like, no, I'm happier. What are you talking about? I'm so relieved to be out of that awful relationship. And I was like, you're not even out of it. What are you talking about? Like, you just got out of it. Like, you're not, like, how this, I don't believe you. And she was like, okay, you're going to tell me how I feel? And I was like, it's not even about reading you. Just the amount of time you said is preposterously small. I was like, how long were you together? And she said something like 8 years or some shit. And I was like, okay, I was like, I'm also separated and it's been 6 months and it feels like it was yesterday. So there's no fucking way that after 2 weeks you're just like over it. And she freaked out and left. She yelled at me that I'm not going to tell her how she feels, and then she left. And so I have that experience a lot, and of like feeling like I just like don't believe what other people are saying about themselves.
Do you think there's anything that is there any that might be too personal?
You can ask. I just will say I don't want to answer if I don't.
Okay. Is there parts of yourself that you're having trouble accepting though? Because you can't always tell whether or not somebody is
Why do you
lying
ask?
about, because I'm curious if there's a lot of things you don't believe just because maybe you haven't experienced it, because the only way you can actually realize something fully sometimes is if you have direct experience with it.
I don't believe that either. Okay, let's walk me through it. You're saying that I don't believe other people accept themselves because I don't accept myself.
I mean, I don't know.
Wait, does that apply to the Tinder story or just trans people?
Oh, the Tinder story maybe? Like you couldn't believe this person was like over it in 2 weeks because like it took you way longer to get over it, for example.
No, I
Or
was just
maybe
being nice.
they went through
I was just being nice when I brought up my own separation.
Oh.
Really, I was just like, it's not possible. What you're describing is not humanly possible.
Yeah, but what if it was possible for them? Do you think it's just not possible because you haven't experienced?
I guess I've never seen anything that makes me think it is possible. It does not comport with my knowledge of humans. My entire brain, the whole database says that that's not possible. And the database does say that it's very possible for someone who is on a manic freak out to leave their spouse and then say that they're perfectly fine and everything's okay.
Yeah.
That's super possible. I've seen that all the time. So that's why I don't know why like if I told you I had a pet dolphin that lives in my bathtub, why wouldn't you believe it? Like I guess it's possible, but like you just would be like, that's not true. I keep having this problem with like Twitch conversations where I tell people I don't believe what they're saying, and then like the conversation's derailed because they like can't. I guess like people can't stand that I don't believe what they're saying.
I just think human belief is an interesting topic. So I mean, you can say you don't believe it. So I just wanted to talk about how you built this system of beliefs and how you're stuck in those beliefs potentially. And if they're too like narrow, lacking in some way.
Well, maybe yours are lacking and yours are narrow. Maybe believing that people know what they're feeling is narrow. Believing that people can tell you who they are and what they're feeling is narrow. I think we know
sometimes
the 30% of what we're feeling.
I don't think we know that much. You're not in tune with your emotions as much.
No.
Do you think there's people who are like?
I think most people find the idea
how they're feeling like a lot of the time.
No, I don't. I think most people. I know you do. I think most people find the idea of a large, submerged, unconscious well of feeling and experience that we can never be aware of. Oh, well, I mean, we can be aware. It can surface and go back under. I'm not saying it's always in the same spot, but generally the idea that we are frequently and largely unaware of our own feelings. Sometimes we realize what we were feeling years later, sometimes hours later, sometimes never. Most people find that pretty disturbing. So I would say that actually your view that you know what you're feeling and you know who you are and you can go around telling people what you're feeling to some degree of accuracy is the narrow one.
So you think that because
Motherfucker.
it's like it's hidden in your subconscious and we're not fully aware of our subconscious all the time? That's why?
Well, you can't ever be aware of your subconscious.
You don't think you can become more in tune with it?
You can, but then it's no longer unconscious once you're thinking about it. By definition,
So it's
there's
kind of
always-
like unraveling.
There are always
your
feelings that
beliefs
you're
and
not
experiences.
aware of.
Because what is your
No.
subconscious?
It's the things you're feeling that you don't know you're feeling. And the things you believe that you don't know you believe.
So that's why I brought up meditation, because meditation is about becoming more in line with your subconscious.
You can't. Whatever you're in line with is not your subconscious.
So you're unraveling it.
You can't.
So you're increasing the percentage that you're aware of it. If your subconscious is
You
decreasing,
can do that, but
in
you
a sense.
can't. I think you should just accept that you can't know all of it.
Do you think
I'm
there's
not saying
certain
you should. I think there's definitely a benefit to meditating or to trying to understand your experience for sure. I'm just saying you also
Do you know
have
what
to.
enlightenment is?
You have to know what you don't know. Do I know what
You have to know what
enlightenment
you
is?
don't know. Yeah.
Enlighten me.
I think it's when you unravel all of your subconscious beliefs more and more, and after a certain point you kind of like wake up and become more and more aware.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't think that's possible. I think that's just like manic shit.
But people have been doing it for like thousands of years.
People have been having conversations with Jesus for thousands of years. I don't doesn't mean I
Okay.
believe in it.
Oh,
I don't believe in it.
Well, I wanted to mention it anyways. Maybe you'll try it and then you'll change your beliefs one day.
And maybe you'll change yours one day.
Maybe.
And then we'll be the same
But
person. Maybe we'll trade.
I try to unravel my beliefs all the time. So, like I like meditating, and because I think meditating is unraveling your beliefs and unraveling the clinging to anything too hard. So
I think you want too much control.
you think so?
Yeah.
Over what?
Everything. Your experience, your life.
Over reality?
Yeah. I've
You don't think I've surrendered in a little bit? Surrendered control a bit?
Well, I'm not saying surrender is a good thing. Oh, I said you're too controlled. I guess I mean I think you're too controlled. I think you're too much of a control freak to admit that you have large blind spots that you cannot be aware of.
Oh no,
And
I do think I have blind spots, but I accept that, and I try the actual practice of unraveling those blind spots that people have been doing for thousands of years, like meditating, self-inquiring into your mind and your emotions and your feelings. That's the whole process of unwinding or
I hear
accepting.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I feel like we're going in circles. I
Okay.
think that you
Okay.
generally don't like the idea or reject the idea that people don't know what they're feeling and don't know who they are.
I think most people don't,
But
but I
not
think
you.
there's ways you can work towards that. No, me too.
You
Me
think
too,
you
but
don't.
I'm
You think
working
you
on
think
it.
you think you don't know what you're feeling and you don't know who you are.
Are you asking? You think?
I'm asking you. Do you think you know who you are in like a deep way, and that you know what you're feeling, I get the reason I'm
Yeah.
saying this is because when I
Yeah.
say
Well, there's
I
different
don't
fluctuation.
when I say I don't believe a 2 week split up can result in the person being like fine, even if they say they are, and you're like, well, maybe they're just more in touch with themselves than you are, and so then I see that we have a big gap in our beliefs about people's ability to report on their own feelings. You think that
Yeah, that's what
people,
we're talking about.
yeah, so you think that people can sometimes reliably report on their feelings in a way that's meaningful, and I think it is almost completely meaningless how people think they're doing. I think that like looking at their behavior, looking at what they say but not what they're trying to say, and looking at like what you already know about them and what you already know through other data points is much more useful. And so
Hmm.
like psychological studies that rely on self-reporting are much weaker than those that don't and don't have to. And the trans experience is all self-reporting, and then the successfulness of transitioning is all self-reporting. So I'm not saying like we shouldn't listen to people say how they feel or say whether things worked or not, but I also don't find it to be convincing on its own. And then that combined with the feeling that the the obligation to listen to trans people and accept them as who they are in progressive minds also includes not trying to help them solve gender dysphoria with therapy. It just feels like we're selling trans people short.
Okay.
And so the
Well,
problem
I
is
agree with the
we're hitting.
therapy part.
I know, but we're hitting
We're
a.
stuck on the belief part.
We're stuck because you want to tell me that you're much happier having transitioned, and I don't care.
Well,
And so you can tell me I need to meditate until I believe you. You're basically saying like, well, Max, if you don't believe it's possible to report with that level of accuracy, then you should go meditate until you've dug deep enough in yourself so that you then believe that I've dug deep enough in myself. And if you need to believe that Tinder chick in order to do that, then you go ahead and believe her too. But whatever it fucking takes, lock yourself in a closet and think about your shit until you believe that I've thought about my shit long enough that you believe what I'm saying about myself. And I'm telling you, the more time I spend in the old closet, the less I believe what people say about themselves. Not the other way around.
so I don't. Well, I don't care. I mean, you say you don't care. I don't care if you believe it or not.
Okay.
It's more so I want to suggest that there is a way to do it. You just aren't going to do it. There's a way to know
Yes.
yourself better, but you
I
don't
get what.
believe it. So, but
No, not to the extent that you're saying. You think
so
that
yeah. Wait,
you think the way I think of
you're like,
people is wrong. You think the
no,
way I see the way you think
no,
the
I
way I
don't think it's
see
wrong.
you think the way I see
I don't think it's
human psychology is wrong.
I don't think it's wrong. I think you lack experience
Okay, then you
discovering
think
yourself better,
that's fine. What
and
that's the reason you think
that's
it's wrong. You
blinding you.
just say you think it's wrong. It will be much more
Well, I don't
direct.
think it's wrong.
You do.
I think you lack perspective.
That's just a euphemism for wrong. You're saying
Not
if I had
mm,
perspective, I
no,
would agree with. Okay, I
it
I
doesn't.
100%
Well, to
disagree
say
with
that's
you.
wrong,
To say that's wrong, what?
okay.
What's your problem with
I
saying with
think
why can't you say it's wrong?
yeah. Um, because I don't ultimately I don't believe in good and bad ultimately. But I
That's
do
not,
believe
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's immoral. You're saying
there's
you're saying it's incorrect or not useful.
no,
Not
because to say it's
practically.
incorrect, you'd have to say it's incorrect if you want to achieve a certain goal, and you clearly don't want to achieve a certain goal. So I can't say it's wrong if you don't want to
Okay,
discover something for yourself.
inaccurate.
No, I mean, okay, here's what I'll say. I'll say if you're interested in being able to understand other people's perspectives more, you'd
Okay,
have to go deeper into
do
your
you do
own
you do
self.
you understand that my view is that I understand other people's perspectives better than you do? You know
Wait,
that I think
sorry, I got
I
distracted. What was that?
okay. I think I know more about other people and what they're feeling and what they
Yeah,
are, who they are. I think I'm better at knowing that than you are. And you
I don't think so.
think I know. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. You think
yeah,
you're better at it than I am.
yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
I'll say that.
I'm not trying to say that you're like condemning me or anything. I think you just think my approach to this, my approach to understanding other people is flawed because of a blind spot I have with myself.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think the same thing about you.
Okay.
I don't think either of us are going to change our minds right now.
Yeah.
So, how would you
Yeah.
like to so
I agree.
given that, so one thing I keep running into with Twitch conversations is that when this happens, the other person wants to just relentless, like they can't stand that I think that, but like I'm okay with you thinking I'm wrong. I'm not trying to argue with you. I just want
Yeah.
you to like just nail down your position. Like,
Yeah, I accept that.
okay,
Um,
and I accept that you think I'm wrong. I mean, I knew going into it, like you are trans, so I know that on some level we fundamentally disagree about a lot of this, as much as we would
yeah.
like to align with each other. Like at some level we can't.
Yeah. Um, well, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I disagree with so far. Because I think your
Self-reported
approach,
happiness and success.
um, more about more about the process of letting yourself discover who you are, um, regardless of whether you think you're harming your body or not. I think the whole experience is you going through a process of better understanding, better understanding yourself and unraveling yourself. And I think sometimes it's okay to go through the transition process to discover certain parts of yourself you otherwise never would have discovered.
Okay.
Um,
I
so
will
I think it's yeah,
I definitely agree that living as the opposite gender or sex or whatever will certainly teach you things about yourself that you would not otherwise know. I think that's definitely true. What I don't
okay.
agree with is the idea that transitioning.
Why does it do
Did
that?
you just hang up on me?
No, it randomly disconnects
Are
my
you
other.
running away? You're running
Why is
away
it
from the
doing that?
truth?
What is wrong with Discord? Is somebody kicking me from my own server? Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Just cancels randomly. Okay. I interrupted your speech. Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What I don't agree with is that transitioning is unraveling. I think transitioning is an additive thing. I don't think it's a revelation of self. I think it's a dressing up.
Do you think sometimes you have to build upon yourself in order to unravel the rest of yourself?
No, not really. Because no, I'm sure you can think of a counterexample. I know you
Yeah, so
will, but
sometimes like you're learning psychology and then you read up all this knowledge about psychology and then you learn all this stuff. You're like,
Mhm.
oh, that's the disorder I have. Now I can fix that, for example.
Yeah. I'm not saying. I'm not talking about the learning part. I'm talking about the like, changing the way your body, or changing the way, especially if we're talking about medical transition. You're adding something to your body, whereas it's framed as you're revealing your true self. I think that you're adding something that is not your true self.
Yeah, and that's where I disagree, and I say it's okay for people to add that part to
I,
themselves.
I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm saying
Yeah.
that it is adding, and I think you are framing it as a revelation. So like if I put
I'd say
on
it's an experience.
if I put on a dress and makeup, I understand how on one hand and then I go like have dinner with Shaylin. I have revealed to my girlfriend that I want to wear a dress and makeup. So in that part, it is a revelation. But as far as my like physical body, I think I am also obfuscating my maleness in that process.
Or you're, what do you mean by obfuscate? What do you
Hiding.
say?
I'm covering it. I'm covering my maleness rather than
Why does it have to be a covering? Why not like a change?
well, I think every change could probably be categorized into covering or revealing.
Mm,
Maybe. I
every
don't know.
every change could be categorized into
The
covering or revealing.
like like
Mm.
like if I like if a girl lets you see them without makeup for the first time, that to me that is like a revelation of self.
Because it's natural, and they were otherwise afraid of
Yeah.
showing their natural self.
I get I don't like the word natural, but um if we're using it as shorthand for like cosmetic free, then yeah. Just a lot of being trans is as adding cosmetics to change the way you look.
I just look at it like everything we do in life is,
I know. You think eating is
yeah,
the same as
yeah. I
hormones.
think everything we're doing is building upon ourselves, or sometimes taking it away. So I just don't draw the line at where you do, and I don't think it's harmful. I don't think it's harmful either. It can be harmful. I agree. It can be harmful.
Sure, I mean eating can be
But I don't think
harmful.
it has. I don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it has to be harmful all the time. And I think sometimes it's better.
What are we talking? What are you saying doesn't have to be harmful? Hormones?
Yeah,
Because okay, but we agree that hormones make your sex organs stop working to some degree, right?
they can, if you take
They
androgen
eventually
blockers.
like
They can, but they can start working again if you stop them.
okay, but we agree that they are like definitionally that I feel like that is harmful to your body. It may be harmful
Why?
to a part of your body that you no longer like or that you don't identify with, but it is part of your body.
But what? But what's harmful about it? Just because it
That's
doesn't.
the definition of harmful is breaking things. Like you're breaking something.
Well, it still works. So it just you just can't make a baby.
Yeah,
But
that's
you're
so
not
that
making a baby on like usually anyways.
I don't
So it's not
like
like a
okay, so
necessary
if I
function.
break Shaylin's car with a sledgehammer and then I'm like you're not going to the grocery store anymore. Like that doesn't make that you can't that doesn't make sense. You should concede this point.
No, well, you can still function as if You can still function and do everything you would otherwise be doing
Okay, but you can't do
perfectly
that.
fine. But
Okay.
you don't want to do that.
I
You don't have a
agree.
baby right now, so like what has that function
If you
done for you?
cannot acknowledge that making yourself infertile is some form of harm to your body, then I don't think we can go any further with that line of questioning. You'll just have to accept that I think that is definitionally harmful to your body in some way. It
Okay.
may just be another impasse. There's no way you can
Yeah.
convince me that that is not.
Well, I was just trying to see like what I was trying to see where the harm is. If if you're not actively
I don't think you're going to be
trying
able
to
to. If you don't understand that making it so your body, some part of your body does not function anymore. If you don't understand that that to me is a form of damage to your body, then I don't think I
Yeah,
can
okay.
convince you.
I understand.
I only want to
I
convince you that
understand your perspective, yeah. I
well,
was just
that's
trying
all.
to show you the other perspective.
I
Um
understand. No, I already understand your perspective. I get you're saying you don't want it to do that and you don't care, so it's not harm.
yeah, and there's plenty of people who can't who don't have the function regardless of whether they're on hormones or not.
Absolutely.
It's not a necessary function of being human. It doesn't negatively
Uh,
impact your life. So I'd say harming yourself is somehow negatively affecting you.
I
So I don't
understand.
think this is a negative effect. So that's my point. But I see your point too.
And I see yours.
And I agree to an extent. Where were you going with that?
I don't know. Um,
um
I think we were talking about the difference between um, medical transition and non-medical transition. And so I was saying that you were framing it as a revelation of self and an unraveling, and I was saying that I think it
yeah.
is a additive process. And then you were saying we all change our hormones or do things to our bodies every day.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so I was kind of making differentiations there.
Oh, yeah, because you think that everything else you do that is changing your body isn't harming it, and you think this one thing is harming it. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right,
Uh,
look, I have to go soon. Was there any other part of this that you wanted to get to for sure?
um. No, I think we mostly agree with the other things. I do think people should be aware of the consequences, and therapy can be necessary for a lot of people. Um,
But not you.
I guess not, because I didn't go to therapy and I transitioned, and I feel like I know myself and my feelings and
I know
my
you do.
thoughts
You've made that very clear.
pretty well.
I know.
Um, but I didn't always. And I think when I first started transitioning, it actually messed me up a lot. But I feel like the process and everything I went through
Mm-hmm.
helped me discover myself better. Because I think the actual process of transitioning was filled with a lot of suffering. Um, and most people don't go through that amount of suffering. So that's why I say sometimes it can help you discover yourself better because of those experiences that you put on yourself. That that you otherwise never would have discovered about yourself. But I don't think I don't think everybody should go through that because yeah, it probably should be like a last resort.
Why?
Um, because it's not easy to, you know, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. If you could just go through therapy and just not go through that process of suffering, then you should probably pick that one. But I say that, but I don't regret anything I did because although like maybe it put me into more of a delusion for a bit, but I feel like that temporary process of cloudiness opened the way to clarity, if that makes sense.
What delusion?
Um, I think I didn't always know this. Um, but I think a lot of the beliefs that everybody holds are delusional. I'm not that they're bad. I think they're necessary for society to function.
Like for
But
coping?
for what?
Just for like coping with how life is?
Um, that's yeah, one of them. But
Or
in
you
an
just mean
ultimate
like,
sense, like I think anytime you cling to an idea too hard,
hmm.
then you have a tendency to delude yourself
And
because
society
you
is like
because you
constructive ideas that we need
yeah
to agree to.
yeah
Okay.
it's just like a mass hallucination because everybody's agreeing to it, you know. Um,
So you think being trans is fake, but you think everything else is fake too. So it's the same.
yeah,
Okay. I
kind of.
understand.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's what I think. So yeah, but I don't regret doing anything because I'm happy now. And I don't know if I would have ever reached this level of clarity, at least how I personally feel, if I didn't go through that shitty process. Um, so that's why I mentioned stuff like, how would you know if talking somebody out of it is going to help them discover themselves better? Maybe it'll keep them trapped in this more narrow perspective where they're never going to be happy. Um, you can't really answer that question other
Yeah.
than like a case by case basis.
I don't even think you can answer it then. One of us is trapped in our denial. At least at least one of us. Possibly both of us.
At least. Yeah. Mm,
We're both very arrogant.
you think?
Pretty sure.
Why?
Because we think we know everything. We think people who don't
Yeah.
agree with us are stupid and crazy. So we can bond over that.
Yeah, that's why I like you.
I like you
I
too.
listen to your song. I really like that song. Uh,
Which song?
the I Kill Pedophile song.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Um, it pokes at the paradox of hating people just because they hate you. Um, and like people thinking it's okay just because they did it first. You know.
Yeah.
So I like that. That one made me cry. It's a good song. um,
Thank you.
yeah.
All
Well,
right. I have to
good
go
talk.
in like a minute. Is there anything else you want to say?
Um, not right now. I don't think so.
All right. Well, let me know if you think of anything.
Okay. Well, do you have a talk right now or
A
something?
what?
Do you have something planned? Are you gonna talk to somebody else?
Oh, right now I have a
Yeah.
personal matter to attend to.
Okay. All right. Well, good talk. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Mhm. All right. Good luck.
Thanks. You too.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye. There's nothing left to say after you say you don't believe them. I don't think that's true. Nobody fucking believes anybody. Max needs to try shrooms. Ew. Mr. Girl versus Hardcore Islamists next. Ew. Okay. We get down to the bottom here. Donations will be thanked at the end of stream, so there's no interruptions to Mr. Girl's flow. Thank you. The guitar in the track fucking slaps. You know what? You know who's playing that guitar? That's Jimmy. The one and only. Can't wait for her to shit talk on Twitter. She would not do that. I don't think she'd do that. She didn't want to go. We'll talk again sometime. I think we both need to reflect. If you meditated, do you think you would learn the correct belief system? Do you think birth control is harmful to the body? Yeah. Less so, because it's not permanent. Although I know she was saying it's not permanent either. I also think there's other things that hormones change. I was just going by our combined agreement on what damage, if any, is being done. I think a line of questioning that could be interesting to ask is if they would feel the same about transitioning if the experience was in a vacuum or if they were the only person on Earth. So they could focus on the decision and feelings itself, removed from the pressures society may cause. I think she would acknowledge that, or she did acknowledge that some of it is from society and agreed that it is on some level capitulating to the pressure. But I interviewed another trans girl who said that she would transition even if she was on an island by herself and never met anybody else. What are your thoughts on getting a vasectomy? It freaks me out. Similarly, even if I didn't want to have kids, I feel like it would bother me. I'd rather harm Shaylin's body than harm my own. You know. Can I ask you a long 2-part question? It's about my girlfriend gaslighting me into getting cucked by another man. That sounds like a advice and confessions issue, and we've got a long line. So let's, if you can hold out for a month or something. Okay, I have to read these donations. And then I have to go. So everyone in this chat is a pedophile. Pretty much. Welcome to the stream. Okay. We have 4. Livy Lev gave me $1. If gender is literally just how society perceives, reacts to your body, and the only reason I'm a woman, cis by the way, is because other people see me as much, then it is a completely post-op cis-passing trans woman, not literally a woman. Not female, but a woman. I think I said it's how society and you perceive you and react to your body, but yes, if you are completely passing, and we're using the gender definition of woman, then you are a woman in every situation, like where it matters. But I think that like knowing that you're not female still makes that a little trickier, but I get what you're saying, and it's an interesting point. Trinonymous gave me $1. Gave me another $1. Thank you. Would you ever date a trans woman? If so, hit me up, and then there's a phone number, and then a winky face, and don't tell Shaylin. Thank you. Mark Schmitty, $3.33. Traps aren't gay. Not a question, just a statement. Thanks, Mark Schmitty. Twitch Cockroach gave me $3. You should try doing a stream that fully leans into all the Twitch monetization bullshit. The sub callouts happening on screen, the text-to-speech bots, and the bar that fills up as people donate or sub. I think you would hate it. I would hate it, and I don't want to do that. But I appreciate the $3. And the suggestion that that's, you know what I hate even more than like the monetization, like money shit, is when people pretend they're doing it ironically and like, oh, isn't that funny that mrgirl is doing a whole stream about like begging for money, but like he's because he's not like that, but like seriously, like, can I have some money? I think that's worse. Answer the question. What question? Do you feel like a cult leader? Yeah, sometimes. Why is everything in this motherfucker's room some great shade of gray or brown? I don't know. Find out next time. I actually can't even remember if I actually ordered those shelves, but I think I did, and I think they're on the way. I think. All right, guys. I live in the Mexico section of the movie Traffic. That's right. All right. This guy, I think, currently has like 80 viewers. So try to freak him out when you get there. Goodbye, horses.